So these are literally the three things that I focused on to stay shredded all year long. This is no crazy diets, no fads, and yeah, I was eating chocolate during the day. I could practically eat whatever I wanted. So if you actually want to get lean and stay lean, stick around for this video. So step number one is going to be fasting. Now, the first thing I do every single day, every single year, all year long is a 5-hour fast. Now, let's say I wake up at 10 a.m. in the morning. I'm not going to eat until 3 p.m. And here's the thing, you don't have to fast to get lean. You can eat first thing in the morning. But for me, I prefer fasting because it helps me dial in, especially since I am doing sales or if I'm in entrepreneurship. I feel focused and I can be razor sharp on sales calls or just being creative. So for me, fasting just feels way more automatic. It feels natural. And as human beings, as we're growing and evolving, we actually never used to eat the amount of food we ate today. When I fast, my willpower is so much higher than if I'm eating all morning, and I'm able to lock in. My productivity spikes way up and I just feel way more productive overall. So for me, fasting has just been more of a mental benefit than it has been a physical. And for me, I tend to get really slow when I eat food. I tend to actually get a little bit groggy after. So I love fasting because it helps with focus and it helps just overall with my productivity. Now, I've tried, shorter fasts. I've done 3 hours, even 4-hour fasts, but I find that 5 hours is just that sweet spot. So here's a quick story. When I used to live in Colombia, I would wake up, I would sip black coffee, and I would just bang out a ton of work, and I felt like I was completely focused. I had no cravings during the day. And that mental state that I was in every single day because I was fasting, it made me feel like I was in control of my life and my entire day. So whatever time you decide to wake up, just wait 5 hours, whether that's 5 a.m. in the morning or 10 a.m. I would have some black coffee or have some electrolytes so that you can hydrate yourself, because after 8 hours of sleep, you're going to wake up dehydrated and you need to replenish everything, your salt, electrolytes. I usually get a one that is online on Amazon. I will drop the link below. If you stack the electrolytes with the fasting and the black coffee, I feel like you're just a superhuman. It's almost like when you actually get to that 10-hour window and even the 14 and 18-hour fasting window, you don't want to eat. There's a certain period in time where the hunger actually goes away. And on the flip side, if you push the fast too long, then you're going to want to binge after. So 5 hours is the sweet spot after you wake up. So step number two is your calories. So the second thing is you want to hit your calories every single day. This is by far the most important thing if you want to get lean. I don't care what diet you're doing, if you're doing keto, carnivore, if you're vegan, or just eating protein pancakes in McDonald's. If you don't hit your calories or you're eating too much, you're just not going to get lean. Here's a simple way to set your calorie goal. Take your goal body weight in pounds and multiply that by 13, and that is how many calories you need to eat. That's it. So if you're 230 pounds, for example, and you want to drop down to 200 pounds, you're going to want to eat around 2,600 calories. Let's say you're cutting to 150 pounds. That's just around 1,950 calories. So when I was living in Poland, I lived in Warsaw for 3 months. I would usually break my fast with about 5 eggs and enough ground beef to, be about the size of my fist here. So I would do that and have maybe 2 pieces of toast and some sauerkraut. That would be my first meal to break the entire fast. The second meal I'd have during the day would be some cottage cheese, some Greek yogurt, some berries. This would include maybe some blueberries, some banana, and maybe sprinkle a little bit of whey protein on it. And it is the best meal. In my opinion, it's almost like dessert. So those are the 2 meals that I was eating every single day. It is so easy to track instead of doing a bunch of different meals, because when you do that, it's hard to figure out how many calories you're getting. And when you just systemize it, eating the same meals day in and day out, it can get boring. It makes the body you're trying to achieve so much more easier. So usually I'll have like another 400 to 500 calories at night that I need to eat. So the way that I'll get those in is I'll eat some dark chocolate, or I'll usually have maybe some avocado toast And that's what usually fills that gap for me at night. So when I'm locked in, I eat the same meals daily. I know it can be boring, but this is just what works the best for me, and it might work best for you as well. And here's the thing is that if you also don't enjoy the process, you're not going to follow this long term. So find something that works for you that you can stick with, and that way you'll always be able to maintain a fit body for life. Because the whole point of getting in shape is not to just get there and then you get fat again or you get super skinny again. And this is a lifestyle that you want to maintain, for the rest of your life. And you want to set yourself up to enjoy the process, to be able to carry this on, for many years down the road. So that's the second key, is lock in those calories and just keep it repeatable. So the third thing is walking every day. No cardio, no sprints, no crazy mountain climbing, just walking. It is so simple, but it is simple and stupid that it'll help you get to your results. So walking burns a lot of calories, but the best thing about it is that it doesn't spike your hunger like sprinting or doing some heavy cardio does. I personally aim for about 10,000 to 14,000 steps every single day. No joke, when I used to live in Lviv in Ukraine, I was able to average 15,000 steps every single day, like no problem at all, because I literally didn't have a car and everything was just walking distance. So I would go to the cafe, walk to the gym, walk to my dates, just walk everywhere. And it is the easiest way to get your steps in, especially if you don't own a vehicle. So I actually got way leaner eating 2,700 calories every single day just because of the walking out there. So most people today, they're sedentary. We sit at desks, we are sitting in our cars, we're sitting here, we're sitting there, and there's no exercise. And I feel like that I've noticed that in Canada since I've been here more than I've been in Europe or even South America. It is the weirdest thing ever, because when you touch down on Canadian or American soil, you really start to see how unhealthy the world is becoming. In South America, I had a hard time finding somebody obese. Meanwhile, in Canada or America, especially America, I can walk outside my front door and I will see a bunch of obese people walking around my neighborhood. So get moving, just get on a walk, maybe take some calls, make a phone call, and just use that as an excuse to go out for a walk. And that you can also listen to some podcasts and just make it super productive. Or you can also just call somebody. So this is something I've done to help me with my walking. You also don't have to think of walking as like cardio. It's just a part of life, and it's just a part of living lean. So the three things in this video I covered was fasting for 5 hours, get your calories in, or don't eat too much calories, and get 10,000 steps minimal. So if you do these three things every single day, I promise you that getting in shape is going to be so easy to do. You just have to execute. Also, add in 2 to 3 weight sessions every single week so that you can maintain your muscle and build muscle as well, of course. And you're going to want to be able to focus on building a V-taper body, especially if you're a guy. The bigger your shoulders are and the smaller your waist is will give you that superhero movie star look that you want, and most likely is most attractive to a woman. So when I was like in my best shape of my life, in Colombia, in Ukraine, even in Poland, I was following these exact steps daily. I looked better, I felt way sharper, and ultimately it's just super sustainable. So remember, if you were to take one thing from this video, it is that you can get into the best shape of your life, but if you don't enjoy the process, there's no point, because it's going to be unsustainable. So you have to enjoy the process, because if you don't enjoy the process, it's going to feel like a punishment. And if it feels like a punishment, you're not going to want to do it. When you find your rhythm as well, it's going to feel effortless, and this is going to be something you can carry on for the rest of your life. So if this helped, drop a like, subscribe to the channel as well, and let me know in the comments, which of these three are you already doing, and which of these are you going to start today? This is the simplest way to get lean and to stay lean. So I'll see you guys in the next video.